Okay, we're going to open the regular May 6, 2025 Columbia City Board of Zoning Appeals regular meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Kathy Gardner.
Here.
Patricia Hatcher. John Kissinger.
Here.
Anthony Romano.
Here.
Dennis Warnick.
Here. We do not have any previous meeting minutes at this time, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, anybody wishes to speak tonight, please raise your right hand and
if you would please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you are about to offer will be the truth? If so, answer I do. You may put your hand down and be seated. Thank you.
Thank you. Old business, we have one tonight. We have 25-C-BAR-2 K&HC Properties LLC. They want to ask for a variance for the side setback for a primary structure and for the surface material of a driveway parking area. And that's it. 374 and 376 North Oak Street. Nathan?
Sure. The summary of the staff report is identical to last month. Helps if I click on that screen. So just to refresh everybody's memory, this is on North Oak Street across from the old hospital site. Overall acreage is about 1/4 of an acre. What is being proposed is construct a new 2-family dwelling. The petitioner bought, split, recombined the property in 2021, has constructed virtually identical houses on flanking sites to this proposed site in 2023 and 24. Additionally, they propose to install a 20-foot by 40-foot gravel parking area, which would be accessed from the alley. That's as per the original proposal. Of course, we talked about several different things last month. The code standards: 2 paved off-street parking spaces per dwelling unit. That would be variance number 1, is to allow for non-pavement. And then the setbacks, you can see they're bolded, are, because this is zone GB, you have side setbacks of 10 feet the proposed are 4 feet, resulting in 6-foot variances. And as you may recall, I also included R3, which is our least restrictive residential district, which allows for 7-foot side yards. So all of that is reference, and I will just buzz through these aerials. Highlighted there in blue is the subject site, there in the center. And then you can see to the north you have R2 zoned areas, you have GB around the old hospital site, and you have R1 further to the east and south, or east and west. We do, despite the zoning, have quite a bit of mix of historical lots and somewhat newer lots. So many of the existing R1 and R2 and GB lots don't actually have fully compliant lot standards. So just so you know that. Aerial view closer up showing the site, and of course the 2024 house duplex 2-family dwelling is located right here. And then, as you also recall, this alley back here doesn't serve anyone in the immediate vicinity, but does serve a couple houses a little bit farther south and farther south from that. And it is gravel. Photo from last month showing the site and the 2 existing dwellings. This is the dwelling to the south as well. And this is the submitted site plan showing the centered location of the house. And as was discussed, the petitioner centered it this way for aesthetics primarily, as well as to set it back from the existing 2-family dwelling to the south, which is here, and then the one up here goes east-west. The parking would be back here off of that gravel alley. And I sketched in the blue location there of the approximate existing house to the north, and you can see the older one there to the south. I won't go through the review criteria again. I think we've talked about all of these last time. This was continued from last month in order to allow for Mr. Romano to add his input into this. Unfortunately, Ms. Hatcher isn't here tonight due to another commitment, but hopefully we can fully flesh out this discussion tonight and answer any remaining questions that you all may have. Any questions for me at this point?
I have one question. At last month's meeting, Dennis had made a motion, I seconded to deny the gravel driveway, and then the board voted on that. It was 4-0. So that no longer is a valid.
You're right. We did. So we took partial action on this. So ignore the part about the gravel driveway. That was actually acted upon. So we're only looking at the side setback components.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. And I guess I have one other question. So even though the minutes weren't done, I communicated with Amanda, and she provided me with a link that could go back and listen to the meeting from last month. I was just curious if Tony was able to do that so that he was kind of abreast on what the discussion was last month.
I did not.
Okay.
And yeah.
I was just
So,
curious. I
no,
was just
that's-
curious.
that's
Okay.
fair.
I
Okay.
did send it to everybody else yesterday
Okay.
when I knew that it wasn't, the minutes weren't looking good, so.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
And since you brought it up, I'll just do a marketing statement. Columbia City does webcast all of its public meetings on their YouTube channel, including ours, which are nicely broadcast live. Most of the others are recorded and then posted. So if ever you want to go back to about the last 2 years worth of videos, They are on the Columbia City
Man, the
government
last thing I want to see is myself.
YouTube site.
You can
So-
do that while you're on a car show.
Yes.
Okay.
So anybody else have any questions for Nathan?
No.
Alright, I'm gonna open up to the floor and have the, petitioner please come to the podium, state your name and address, and kind of fill us in on what we might have not had last week.
Heather Kofel, 1890 East, 250 North, Columbia City, Indiana.
Keith Cofell, 1890 East, 250 North, Columbia City.
And we did watch back.
Okay.
So it's on there.
Do you guys have any questions?
I guess did you have,
Just refresh.
yeah,
So we proposed last time about putting the house in the middle like it is versus turning it to where it will be parallel with the blue house or duplex. But doing that, you're gonna have to do a variance. He did talk to whoever the code person is that we would have to put up different firewalls on the new build. And so we're aware of those circumstances. One of the things that was offered is for us to draw up a whole new plan, find a builder that's going to build it, probably go 2 stories, and that's just not feasible. So we are at the point now that we either need the variance or we're going to have to turn it sideways. I know some on the board did not find it aesthetically pleasing. And so I guess it's in your hands if you want it turned sideways. In my opinion, it's not gonna look right, and I know you felt the same way because you live over there. It's just not gonna look right. But if that's what you want us to do, that's what we'll do. The driveway is a null and void. We already know that. So that's where we're at.
This is just a quick sketch of what that 90-degree turn, which would be code compliant with the setbacks, but you can see what, I think that's what you were intending, something kind of still centered. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So again, it would be code compliant. They would not need a variance for this orientation.
Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna ask a stupid question, and I don't know if we can even talk about it. What happens if you turn it all the way around so it faces the alley, because that's where your parking comes off of anyway? Then it wouldn't be as close, would it? Because
Yes.
it still would be? Because
Yeah.
the setback wouldn't be as much.
It's the side setback.
That's a side setback.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
working on
Okay,
both.
okay, sorry about that.
No, that's fine. And then we own both sides. So
Right.
it's not like we're
You like this?
something that's already somebody else owns.
Maybe also. But so, question, and just because it looks like, how close are the two structures to each other in the proposed orientation? Because
Like,
The new one in the
the
first.
new and the existing, it just
More
looks
than
really
that.
I
close.
think the south one is 10 feet from the line.
so it'll be 14 foot.
Yeah, I believe it winds up being a 14-foot separation to the south, and then it would be a little bit more than that to the north. And that too, as we discussed last month, a 14-foot separation is approximately the same thing as if this was R3, which requires 2 7-foot setbacks. So even though it's 10 and 4, it's still equivalent to 7 and 7, at least to the south. To the north, it's, again, a little different.
And then someone proposed for us to go through the rezoning and all that, and that's not.
Feasible, because we don't know if you'll change then anyway.
Right.
So yeah.
We're not gonna take
I'm
a
not
chance again.
Catch 22.
Yeah.
All right.
and these are stick-built homes,
Yes.
they're not,
Yes.
it's not a modular of
No, they're stick built.
where you're more stuck with the actual size.
So when you said you talked about the zoning codes for the firewall,
Mhm.
okay, did you talk to Craig Wagner?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so you're aware of what needs to be done to do
Yes.
that. My other thought is, when I'm looking at it, can they legally combine those 3 lots to make them one parcel?
No, I don't know if it's legal, but we're not doing that because if you ever
That's
want to
cost
sell
money.
it,
They're making us put in two sewer taps so we can actually sell half of it.
and we already.
So we don't want to put them all together. If they're making me do that so I can sell it, so why combine it and have
You can
six?
you couldn't sell half of it. You didn't. of
Yes,
the property.
yes.
You could sell lot 1, which is the north
No, I can
lot.
sell. I can relot it and sell it in half of a building. That's what they told me, right? If I go through your
If, yes, the subdivision code does allow for that, but it's also a function of if you built it with the rated wall in the center.
yes,
Okay,
it's got
so
to be
yes,
rated. It's got to be rated for because it's
yeah. So to explain what he's talking about, the subdivision code allows for a lot to be split one time, basically for ownership purposes.
Yeah.
And we use that for 2-family dwellings that are villas, if you want to call them that, elsewhere. So I believe that would apply here. Not 100% sure, but I believe it does apply.
That's what you guys told me.
Okay.
That's the reason I got put in 2 sewer taps.
And Kathy, the other thing about combining all 3 together, it could be done under GB because apartments, essentially multifamily, is allowable under GB. They still have to come back as a special exception then.
Okay.
Was it 3?
I'm just kind
Was it
of
3?
mulling around
yeah.
options here. So.
No, that's
Yeah, it's always been 3 lots. We never combined them. We just took out an alley.
Right, and I see that. Yeah. I'm just looking at different options that might help your cause here. To, plus, to make it so that they meet more, meet the requirements. I just struggle with the 4 feet. I really struggle with it. And I think, as I mentioned last month, the thing that I struggle with too is when you came into the department to try to say, this is what we're, buying these 3 lots, and this is kind of how we are
Actually,
wanting
no,
to
we
do
was
this.
planning on turning them like the one to the north, but then we talked about it and they said we could buy the alley, so that's why we decided to face it to the road.
Oh, okay. So originally it was all going to face to
Yeah, originally we're all supposed to face like that one to the north, and then we decided, well, if we take that alley out, and
because
then
that
get a
alley was
variance.
never used, was it?
No,
No, because that was owned by one family, and then the brother and the sister split. She got 1 lot, he got 2, and then they sold to us.
So originally, if I'm
there
getting
was
this
a house on
right,
that
you were
middle
going
one
to,
too.
all 3 units were going to run east and west. Is that what you're saying?
North and south. There's
North and south. Like the blue one, they're all not set like the blue one.
This way, but they
Yeah,
didn't
this-
have enough
yeah.
room there.
No, we had enough room, but we thought it looked better going the other way. Facing the road, the front of the house faced the road.
Okay.
Are you building those with the center wall to meet
Yes,
code if you wanted to split them in half?
I believe so, yes. I'll have to double check, but yeah, if I had to put 5/8. Because it's a resident, even if it's gotta be, because it's considered 2 different houses now. It's just not sold, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That one, we were only talking about doing that, it's just something we could do.
so the original plan, without vacating the alley, would have been something like that.
I'm trying to remember too, there are no windows on the
And
ends,
No.
correct?
Correct.
Okay. And if you're going to run this unit the way you're proposing, you're still going to bring your parking area off of the alley, correct? Because you kind of talked last month about possibly coming off of.
That really isn't a discussion because we don't have to.
We can go on front or back, it
Yeah.
don't matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
The question was if it's gonna be stone or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was,
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
yeah, we haven't decided on that yet.
Okay.
Depends on what you guys do, what we do.
Someone wants to come. So you're not planning on putting any parking in the front of that?
We don't know, depends on what you guys tell us.
He said he may go here, they may come up here, which they can.
Cause we took, there was a hill originally in front of that, we took that down, so we could go to the front of it.
So then you would basically you'd remove the parking lot in the back and move to the front, or you'd have,
We could, yes, possibly.
So it'd be like the,
That's not,
it'd be
that's,
like the southern,
we were just here for the stones or not.
right.
If it was gonna be stone, it's gonna go to the back, cause it's
Okay.
stone.
Okay.
Now I can go to the front, cause, you know, I can go either way.
Okay.
It don't really matter.
Gotcha.
That's not a concern right now, a concern is where it's gonna sit.
Yeah. It just seems like it should be further back, just visually, but nobody's looking at it straight down in real life.
There's window, we try to put it where the doors are at on that
yeah,
one to the
to
north.
get you more separation
Get-
from the,
Okay.
so.
Because there's like
I
two
see what
windows
you're
on
saying.
each side in the back. One's a
They
bedroom
keep a
and
little
then
more
one's a
separation between
And
kitchen.
originally there was a house on
East
that lot, and I
corner of
think
that
it's in the
one.
front of that.
South.
We're trying to avoid that too.
west corner of the other one.
Okay. Did it have a basement?
Yeah, I think so, yes.
I can't
We don't know
remember
if they
that.
buried it or not, what they did.
I can't remember that house.
That
I
helps.
grew up there for a while.
You should remember that. It was-
I should, but I don't.
The tree that
It's
was
old
taken
age.
down.
They used to have a map of it.
Yeah.
You still got, does the county still got the picture of that?
Mailbox was by that tree,
Yeah.
and so was the driveway.
And there was a tree that we took down too, or the city did.
Two-story
Yeah.
warehouse, I think it did have a basement.
It was right about
vacant.
there.
It was vacant for a long time.
But they're saying there's 14 feet.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Thank you.
Does that look like?
It was a white house.
I'm gonna trust, I asked the question, and I'm gonna trust that they were right.
I just seen pictures when I was in the
Then, yeah,
building department, I don't know.
I thought it was like
And I'm not sure if they buried.
Brown.
Just kind of-
brown, okay.
Yeah,
Fisher
thank you.
Brown.
I thought it was navy blue or something, brown.
I'm
I
sorry
don't
to
think
say.
I have anything on here.
That's up to you. We'll see how you.
Does anybody else, have any questions for petitioner? Thank you.
Since the question on the graves, there's the house.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
there.
Okay. Yeah, no, yeah.
Is there anyone else here that would, like to speak on behalf of the petitioner? Is there anyone here who would like to speak against the petitioner? Hearing none, I'm gonna close the floor and open it to board discussion.
What are you thinking, Dennis?
I make the motion for the approval of the variance.
I got a motion to approve 25-C-VAR-2. Is that with recommendations from council? Maker?
I didn't have any recommendations.
As
No,
presented,
no staff.
You had this.
No.
as presented.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'll second that motion, and I'm just gonna go on record as saying that, I'm seconding it because they, discussed the construction with, Craig Wagner, who's the chief building inspector, regarding the fire wall on the north and the south side, of the structure. It's obviously the best layout than to turn it. I just would suggest in the future, any more developments that you might do, that you might want to run that all past the planning and building department prior to any construction. So to avoid this happening in the future. So, thank you.
I have a motion from Dennis and a second from Kathy. All those in favor, raise the right hand. Opposed, same sign.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
Thank you.
New business tonight. We have 25-C-VAR-4, Gerald and Mary Lauer, variance of the front setback and building line for the attached garage. And that's it. It's at 1092 West Fawn Court. Nathan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I actually have new slides for tonight. For this case, this is located over in Deer Chase on Fawn Court, which is a handful of lots long, cul-de-sac, zoned on R1, single-family residential, just under half an acre total size. What is being proposed is to construct a 46 by 31 foot attached garage addition off of the eastern end of the house. With that addition, the setbacks, the nearest setbacks are 26.6 feet off of the southeast corner and 29.3 feet off of the northeast corner. The other sides of this garage are compliant with the requirements of the platted building line, which in Deer Chase is 30 feet despite R1 requiring a 35-foot setback. By policy and precedent, we respect the platted building line as the controlling setback, so the requested variance is 3.4 feet. Also, just for everybody's reference, when we have a variance of a platted building line, we notify the people, the other homeowners, the other property owners in the subdivisions, so they all have a chance to speak if they wish to do so. There are other ways to handle it. This is the way we handled it historically. So again, the requested variance is just over 3 feet. Going to reference materials, highlighted there in blue is the petitioner's subject property. Also, in case you're wondering, the little pink lines there are the platted easements. Some of those have been mapped by our GIS department, and this is one that happens to be mapped. So closer view, as I said, Fawn Court is only a handful of lots long. This lot is actually owned by the property owner to the north as well. Oblique view off of the end to which the attached garage is proposed. This is the proposed plot plan. You can see that the 29.3 feet is right here, and then the nearest is where the cul-de-sac curve comes and clips off this corner of the proposed garage. So this is 26.6 feet, this is 32.7 feet, and then as you go farther back, of course, it's compliant. Overlay here showing the plot plan over the aerial, again for reference. And then because of, thought it might be useful to show the oblique, so I also overlaid the plot plan over the oblique aerial. So this is a little bit more, doesn't fit quite so well, but I thought it might give another perspective of how everything lays out. Going to the review criteria, staff doesn't feel that this would be particularly injurious to the public health, safety, morals. There is still plenty of room to move around. This is not close to any other structures, doesn't impede visibility despite it encroaching into the front setback. This lot is technically a corner lot because you have the cul-de-sac bulb kind of curving up around the back side, so essentially you do have two frontages out of this. General welfare, as always, if you don't find a practical difficulty, a site-specific difficulty, you could run the risk of creating a precedent. We don't have any other similar encroachments on corner lots in Deer Chase. So again, whether this would create a precedent, this is somewhat unique in that it's the only one that we have essentially 3 frontages rather than a more standard 2 frontage corner lot. But again, I raised that for your concern. The use and value, again, staff doesn't feel that the use and value of the area would be particularly affected. This is a rather substantial garage that's being proposed, so it may look out of the norm, but whether that would substantially and adversely affect the value of the area, as opposed to just looking out of the norm. That might be something to consider. The use, I don't think this would affect the use of the area. Again, it doesn't impede visibility or access or the other measures that we typically look for use. Strict application, there could be something with, again, the 2.5 or even 3 street frontages, depending on how you view it, specific to this. But whether this is a situation created as a self-imposition, whether it be because of the size of the garage being proposed or the fact that they knew that they were acquiring a property that had this limitation to start with, that is something that the board should also weigh out as you consider this. Finally, then, we did receive one letter regarding this from the public, which I believe was in your packet. So I hope you've had a chance to digest that as well. So any questions for me?
I believe so. Thank you, Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
Would the petitioner like to come to the podium and state your name and address?
My name is Ryan Pepler. I'm with Walker and Associates Land Surveyors. We helped the Lauers with their survey and the plot plan and the overall feel for how to lay out the garage. We went through several different scenarios on how to best fit what their needs were, as well as keeping in mind the feel of the overall neighborhood. And so this is many renditions down the road, but we feel this layout can meet their needs and hopefully pass this board. I do have a couple, if you want larger copies of what we did. That's the aerial view. Outlined in red is where the proposed garage would be.
Okay.
The reason for that, there's a part that comes down on the east side of the proposed garage. That was to make better use of the existing driveway. So that it brings it down just a little bit, but that way they didn't have to cut into the existing driveway. They could add on between the existing driveway and the front of the garage. So that's why it comes down just a little bit on that end. So
How big was the garage again?
the dimension, I don't have the dimension there right here. It comes down 34 feet, goes over 31, back up 4, back over just under 15.
Okay.
So it'll have 2 bays then, right?
I believe, is it 2 or 3?
Well, it depends on, I'm Mary Ann.
Yeah,
Lauer
sorry.
At 1092 West Fawn Court. There'll be 2 garage doors.
Okay.
But it'll probably be, it's gonna be big inside. It's
Right.
gonna be bigger inside.
Ms. Lauer, were you sworn in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay.
She stood up. She stood up.
Yes.
Yes.
She stood up.
Well, she's saying she didn't. And if she's under oath, then she's,
I can stand up. No, she did stand up.
all I would need is to have somebody who took an oath say that what she said was correct. And state your name.
No, then it's correct. I'm Sharon Gilbert.
Okay.
I am the closest neighbor to her on
Okay.
the east side.
Okay.
And she did stand next to me, but I had a busy day. And what she said is exactly
Well,
correct.
it's busy enough that she got confused, and she got confused, and I got confused. And you're the only one that's right, so we now know.
Now we're covered. Now
Okay.
Ryan, are the garage doors then, or Mrs. Lauer, are the garage doors on the north side? They'll come off.
They'll, yeah, they will
Face the
face the driveway. That'll be the north side.
There'll be a single garage door on the 14.7 foot face, and then a double wide, double garage door, or an extra wide garage door on the. I don't have the dimensions. I gave you my copy. But
Yeah, on the 21/7.
yeah. It'll probably, my guess would be like an 18-foot door on that one.
And the reason for?
This big garage.
Yes.
My husband bought a riverboat. On the trailer, it is 26 feet long. The whole
Paddle wheel?
Pardon?
A paddle wheel riverboat?
a fishing boat, I think.
Okay. Fishing boat.
It's a
Okay.
self-draft fishing boat, but it's so long. And nothing in Deer Chase can sit out. Okay?
Oh, I forgot that.
Nothing can sit out. So we had to work and we have to design this so we've got the depth where the big door will be for that boat. We gotta get it in, it has to be put away.
That's the front back.
Can I do sworn in? Can I do sworn in?
There'll be a public portion.
Yeah, they need to say if they want to hear. Are you here for a petitioner? They will ask eventually to have people other than the petitioner speak. It's really, this was for the petitioner's agent. They'll ask who would support after that, and if you want to talk and haven't been sworn, you can be sworn.
All right, so ultimately 6 days is with the existing garage, right?
Yes, you got three, there's 3 bays on
Three
the
on
existing.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean,
Do you have any more questions for the petition?
I don't.
I don't.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is there anyone else here that'd like to speak on behalf of the petitioner?
Now stand.
And if you haven't been sworn in, just approach the stand. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to offer will be the truth? If so, answer I do. You may put your hand down. Please state your name and address.
I'm Larry Gilbert. I live to the east of the Lauers. I'm at 1066 West Fawn Court. I have to say, this will not be just a typical garage. They will match the outside of their house. They're going to put brick on the facing part of the house, just like the rest of the house is. They're going to have windows that match the house also. So when you look at the house coming around the bend there, it's going to look just like it was always built there. It's not going to have just siding on it. It's going to look like the rest of the house. So I think that's important for the neighborhood. So I have no problem with it whatsoever. So that's basically what I wanted to say. You know, the facade outside there is going to look just like the rest of the house. Yes, yes. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like to speak. I'm Sharon Gilbert, 1066 West Fawn Court, and the Lauers, I'm the closest house to them on the east side. And this is really sort of a quality of life issue too. Mr. Lauer has Parkinson's, and he's in a wheelchair most of the time. And this gives him mobility that he can go in and out and still live his life with some sort of idea that, you know, he's still out there, right? And I think that's just been a great thing for them. These people are my neighbors. They've done nothing but improve our neighborhood in the 3 years they've been there. And I would hope that you would see, you know, the need for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here who'd like to speak on behalf of the petitioner? Thank you.
I'm Joyce Hopkins, and I live at 1323 Glenwood Drive. And I'm here on behalf of the Deer Chase Homeowners Board. Jerry and Marianne have been working with us for quite some time on this. When Jerry first called, he said he wanted to do an attached garage, and I said, he wanted to do a garage, and I said it had to be attached. Jerry's response was he'd put a 2x4 up and attach it that way. He's quite a character, and I've really enjoyed getting to know him and Marianne. They have followed all the guidelines of our covenants with their plan, with the matching brick, as he said. The windows will be the same. The stone landscape will be the same. I think Marianne said they were going to take the siding off their home and reuse it on one side. So the HOA board will approve this if you approve the variance. So
Thank you.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here that'd like to speak on behalf of the petitioner? Is there anyone here that would like to speak against the petitioner? Close the floor and open to board discussion or motion.
I would make a motion for the approval of 25-C-VAR-4.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Dennis and a second from Tony. All those in favor raise their right hand.
Opposed.
One opposed? Passes. Thank you.
Good luck.
Good day.
Thanks, Lana.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next order of new business. We have 25-C-VAR-5, Connie Forrester. She's asking for a variance of the front setback and building line for a front porch. That is at 614 West Columbia Parkway. Nathan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, going to this case then, this is at 614 West Columbia Parkway. It too is zoned R1, single family residential. It too has a 30-foot platted building line, despite the R1 standards. The size of this lot is just under a quarter acre, again in Columbia Shores Section 1. What is being proposed is to construct a 6-foot deep by 35-foot wide covered porch across the front facade of the existing house, resulting in a proposed setback of 24.5 feet. The existing house is just beyond that 30-foot platted building line, as are most of the homes in Columbia Shores. They were at the age they were built without any sort of porches or even decks or patios out front. Are you done?
I am done.
Okay. Don't want feedback
It
here.
was actually you.
I heard this.
We're going to be technical about it.
That's like the second time I've heard a recording of myself in a day.
It's the worst thing, isn't it?
Oh man. Okay, so the requested variance is 5.5 feet from the platted building line or 10.5 feet from the zoning standard. Very similar in some ways to the case we just heard, as well as very similar to a couple other cases in the same neighborhood that we've heard previously. So highlighted in blue is the subject site, and you can see there if you have an opportunity or have had an opportunity, you can see again that most of the homes are built to the platted building line, and especially when you look at the homes in the immediate vicinity, you have a definite line there that everything matches right at that same building line. This is the submitted plot plan. Again, the existing home is right at that 30-foot mark, and then this would be the porch that would be added on. Overlaid. And oblique view. I did not do an overlay with the oblique view in this case, just because it was, the photo is a bit congested. So in going to the variance criteria, staff doesn't feel that there would be any injury to public health, safety, morals. Again, this would not, what is being proposed would not impede access or create any particular additional fire hazard that we'd be looking at. General welfare, again, very similar to the comments from last time. If this was applied throughout the area, would this be appropriate? And so that is something to keep in mind. Some variation may actually be desirable, but again, at what cost would that variety come? Use and value, staff doesn't feel would be substantially affected. The appearance of it would fit into the, in staff's opinion, would fit into the overall character of the neighborhood. Again, being the depth of it at 6 feet, while it would not line up with the other homes, it would still would appear to be in the same character, and therefore wouldn't likely affect the value. And again, it wouldn't impact the factors that we normally consider in terms of use. Finally, practical difficulties. This one's a bit more difficult to say for sure. There aren't any obvious practical difficulties with this. This is very similar to every other lot in Columbia Shores. Again, every other lot is built to the same front setbacks. One important consideration for why we have a front setback, though, is to allow for parking between the garage and the street. That's one reason that we have such deep setbacks as we do in this area. This proposal doesn't change the amount of parking, doesn't reduce that at all. It just takes on and adds 6 feet to the overall dwelling area. So if you're giving that consideration as one of the reasons for having a front setback, then that would not be affected. But that's just one of several reasons that we have front setbacks. And again, finally, whether this is self-imposed or not, and the further implications that may happen are things for you as the board to consider. I did mention that we've had at least one other very similar case just down the street on Holden Road that we considered, I believe, 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago now. Again, a porch variance, different subdivision, slightly older homes, but still in the same neighborhood. So any questions for me?
I believe so. All right, thank you, Dave. All right, would the petitioner like to come to the podium, state your name and address, and kind of fill us in on?
Connie Forrester and 614 West Columbia Parkway, Columbia City, Indiana. The reason for this, when we first bought this, it was my mother-in-law's home. It's a Cape Cod. So you get package deliveries, they get wet if it's raining, unless somebody puts it in plastic. Once in a while they do, sometimes they don't. Snow, ice, it's not covered, you know. My wish is, if this is allowed, I'm going to get a new driveway, new sidewalks, and then there'll be an incline. There will be no steps at all. When I brought my husband home in a wheelchair, just that little 4-inch step, and then getting into the house, that pad was just big enough for the wheelchair. So I'd get that wheelchair up and get that storm door open, and then I'd have to back him up a little bit to get him inside. And it was so hard. And then if it's raining, you know, it takes a little bit. And it just, I want to have heated driveway, you know, for the in front of the garage and the ramp. I call it a ramp. It's not really a ramp. It's just, it looks the same. It's built into the landscape, so it'll look nice. Yeah, and I won't fall. Done enough of that. So, my daughter says you need to set it up, Mom, so I don't have to worry about you. So, and that's what I'm wanting. So, because when we first bought it, I mean, that was something I wanted to do, but he got the building in the back. So, now it's my turn. So, yeah.
It will not be an enclosed porch.
No, it'll be open.
But it'll have a roof.
Did they include a picture? Yes, that's what I want it to look like.
Does it come under your current, do you change the roof line to all of the house, Connie?
It should kind of flow just like that one there, because that's a Cape Cod. So I want it to flow. I want it to have the characters. You see how that comes underneath where the soffit and fascia is, how that character is there. It's not just going to be simple. It will not have railing because it won't need the railing because it's not going to be off the ground enough. So I want it as open, and I figured 6 feet is plenty. Like I said, there will be no steps going up to it. it'll kind of flow. So that way, and then going into the house, it'll just be easy.
So
So-
if you're heating it, that you won't have any snow to take care of it.
That's my plan. That's my plan. Yeah. Because I fell down the street a couple of years ago. So I was out admiring the snowdrifts and down I went. So, and my mother-in-law, she fell going down to get the mail the one day, and she broke her arm. So that's why I'm thinking ahead. So, any questions?
Any questions for the petition?
I feel I'm kind of leery about the building line issue. I always have a problem with the building line issue. It's established as subdivision, just like I have an issue with the previous petition. However, with this one, I really feel like it's an open covered porch. It's not it's not going to, I think it's going to enhance
Yes.
the front of your home. I think it will look very nice. It's not going to cause any issues with visibility or anything like that.
Right.
So,
Because I'm wanting to put new windows in upstairs, because those are the original windows when the house was built. Well, trying to get up there to change those, that pitch of the roof, they'd have to put scaffolding up to basically really get to that safely. So if we put the porch on first, then they'll be able to, because when Mark redid that siding, he didn't redo that siding up there because he couldn't get to it. So that's aluminum siding that's up there. So, because when we had it insulated, when we had Geigers come, he goes, that's aluminum siding up there, because Mark never was able to get to that to replace it with the vinyl.
Nathan, do we have a street view of that?
I will look and see real quick.
I took a picture.
I agree with you, Frank. It's not a extension out into that right away in a wall.
No.
It's just
I've got
a-
landscaping. The landscaping goes farther than the 6 feet.
So the
So-
wall will still remain.
and if you stand down here and you look,
You'll be able to
either
through it.
way,
Right.
it's not an obstruction.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the front of the house is flat, and it'll
It's flat, and
It'll
it's
give it
just,
character.
I don't like it. Well, my father-in-law wanted Mark to put a porch on. He's like, just put the porch on, I'll deal with the consequences. Because you know Dick. Yeah, you remember him.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just an extension of the roof. So.
Yes, it'll be the extension of the roof. Mm-hmm.
So here's your,
Yeah, see, it'll look really nice. Do you have to remove the tree?
Yes, that red bud tree will go. The big tree in the front will stay. Yeah. That's the sweet gum that drops all those balls. Yeah. That you step on and it hurts. So.
Yeah, I think that'll be nice. All right, does anybody else have any questions for petition?
No, I'd like to make a motion if no one has any.
I need to
Oh,
make sure there's
fast.
nobody in the crowd.
Gotta finish his round.
Thank you.
He's kind of getting in a hurry. Nobody else can speak.
Well, I got a ball game at 8. I'm just kidding.
Is there anyone here that would also like to speak on behalf of the petition? Is there anyone here that would like to speak against the petition? Hearing none, I close the floor and open it to board discussion or motion.
I'll make a motion to approve 25C Variance 5 as presented, just with a notation that the porch may not be enclosed in the future.
I'll second. I have a motion from Kathy and a second from Tony. All those in favor, raise the right hand. Opposed?
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
So how long has it been in your family?
Dick and Betty bought it back in the 80s, I believe.
Long time.
They used to live in Sherwood Forest.
Right, that's correct.
I call them the Sherwood Foresters.
Yes, that's where they got that.
Sad. That's
Well,
just
they had
sad.
two houses back in there. Did you know that?
I did not know they had to.
They built the first one that
Okay.
Simpsons live on.
Mhm.
They went to Florida, I think, or Auburn. I can't remember. They went to Florida and Auburn, and then they came back and built the second one. Yeah. So.
Well, good luck.
Don't give up your day job.
Yeah,
I
that's
will.
his retirement job, right? He's gonna be the new stand.
Comedian.
Shoot.
Hey, I came up with that when I was in high school.
That's right.
That's been a year or two ago, anyway.
You're only 29,
Right.
Yeah, I almost believe it.
Nathan, we have any other business tonight?
Other business, no, but I do have a report for you. The Plan Commission last night sent a favorable recommendation for a code change, text change, to the fence code, or of the fence code to the Common Council. The summary version of what the change will do currently, in front yards, fences are allowed, any type of fence is allowed up to 3 feet tall in a front yard. Chain link fences are allowed to 4 feet tall in front yards. There was a situation which the council felt warranted more consideration and felt like there should be more fence types allowable in front yards, and gave the Plan Commission the directive to figure it out. And so
That's always great.
yeah. The Plan Commission wound up, after considering several different options, including doing nothing, which was not really an option, but always kind of consider doing that. The option that they forwarded to the council was essentially to say any type of fence or wall that is permissible, and there were some material changes as well to clarify some questions that administrative questions. But any type of fence up to 4 feet would be permissible in front yards. So it just makes everything very consistent, and there isn't any favoritism among types of fences like there arguably could have been. It could have gone the other way.
So it's gotta be, you have to be able to see through it, right?
No. You can get a
No,
4
any
foot.
type of fence up to 4 feet.
Okay, I misunderstood that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the transparency options were 1 and 3.
I understood it was not a unanimous vote. So.
Well, you voted the wrong way.
But I will say,
Well, there's people that change their votes too, so.
So, the Board of Works lets them build a.
yeah, we'll not worry about Board of Works. I'm not going to entertain that question right now because it's going to be really, it's going to lead to more. So hang on to it.
So once the Board of Works gives their okey-dokey to that, are we gonna get a copy of our book?
What's that?
Once the Board of Works okays it, will we get a new copy to put in our book?
You mean the council?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll give you the updated.
Okay.
The last code change we did was back in 2021. So I will also say that the 4 foot standard is a pretty common standard. What we have currently and have had is also a common standard to have 3 foot and 4 foot varying. Just standardly at 4 foot is also a very common standard. So we're going from one common standard
I
to
get
another.
that. I get that portion. Yeah. It's the
I agree.
types. So if somebody builds into the street right away, a 4 foot stone wall,
Mm-hmm.
and then a kid runs into it with their bike and gets injured, or a car hits and gets injured, where does the liability fall?
Let's say right now that someone built a 3 foot stone wall into the right of way, which 3 foot stone walls are already allowed in the front yards. It's into the right of way portion that you're getting at.
That's because
that's assuming that the Board of Works approves it.
Okay. I guess that was the next question, because that, like, somebody puts their mailbox out there and encases it in concrete, gets hit, then they could go after whoever installed it that way.
Right. So if the Board of Works approved that stone wall, then potentially the Board of Works would be held liable.
Okay.
The Board of Zoning Appeals only has authority over the lot area because that's all zoning applies to.
Right.
The right-of-way area is the Board of Works. So that's why I'm not trying to nag on you or anything, but it's a complicated question because we have so many instances where both parties are involved. You have both Board of Works decisions as well as BZA. Yeah. And trying to separate them is what we need to do.
Yeah.
So unless the council makes any changes, which they can do, right now, if they make changes, it'll go back to the plan commission for affirmation. If they wait until after July 1, they don't have to do that. State law is changing as of July 1. Yeah, that's a whole nother soapbox. So heads up, hopefully that will, probably won't alleviate any variances, honestly, because we don't have that many. Our variances that we typically see are like 6-foot privacy fences in front yards, for example, as opposed to 4-foot fences or 3.5-foot fences in front yards. But again, it could alleviate 1 or 2 here or there. So I think the material changes actually will help clarify a few things and gives people directive, a better directive of what we're looking for in the community. So I think that's the biggest thing. Comprehensive plan is underway. That update. Dennis,
That was a good meeting.
You were on one of the stakeholder meetings. Okay. So yeah, that's going on. ETA of completion is basically this fall, winter. So.
Okay, because I thought, the way she talked, I thought it was 16 months.
Okay, I could be mistaken. And so it was this fall or winter. It would be into next year then. So that's all I have for you right now, unless I forgot anything, Amanda.
Thank you, Nathan.
Okay.
Motion
We
closed.
adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.